Hello, and welcome to Silicon Valley Girls Chat Over Tea. I'm Gloria.
And I'm Rosetta.
Hi.
Hi.
And as we always like to start our chats, we want you to come in a spirit of gratitude and grace. We believe in our hearts that if we can just treat each other with more love and kindness, that the world will be a better place.
Yes, it will. Yes, it will. And we will want to just first start off by saying thank you, everyone. If you're returning and you're a supporter of ours, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yes.
If you're new, thanks for joining us. And as we always start, you know the routine. We'd love for you to hit that thumb icon if you like our videos. And please consider subscribing to our channel. We'd love that. If you want more chats like this, hit the bell notification so you don't miss any of our chats. All right. What tea are we drinking today, Gloria?
Today we have a new tea to us. It is called Mango Ginger, two favorite flavors of mine. The ingredients are organic ginger root, organic cinnamon bark, organic rutabaga leaf, organic licorice root, my girl, organic fennel seed, and organic cardamom, and organic mango. So this, when we, smell the tea and we get the aroma, when you see mango ginger, you think mango is going to be the most prevalent
Right.
one. Now we know maybe not, because it's one of the
All
last
these
ingredients.
ones, and the company is Yogi.
Yes, Yogi. And Yogi is really cool because it not only talks about yogi, but it talks about yoga and how important that is to our bodies. And as somebody who can't get her little mind to shut up, this is something very, very important that we should all learn.
Yes. All right. Excited to try it.
Yes.
To get all the flavors coming through. And
Yes.
we like to smell the tea bag before we dunk it. So, I can smell the mango
Oh,
now. Now we've had it
yes.
seeping for a few minutes.
Yes.
Cheers. Ooh, that's good.
Very flavorful. I
The
like
mango
it.
really does pop out.
The mango, the cinnamon.
You can, I'm sure you've noticed this, but I've noticed this. As it seeps more and it starts to cool down, the flavors get more intense. That's
Yes.
what I really like.
Yes, they bubble up. So we recommend this one. Not like the last one where we were kind of like, this is very mild and muted. That's our kind way of saying, Oh my God. So as we get started with our chat today, we always want to come at it from a point of focusing and sending our thoughts and prayers to the entire human race. Our world is in such a state of, I would say, my brain is saying chaos. It's not that it's chaotic.
I say dysfunction.
It's chaotic, it's dysfunctional. However, it's also transitional. And I believe in my heart that if we can just get parents to transition back into being in charge of their children and their children's lives, and putting their children and their children's lives ahead of their fame, life will be much, much better.
Yes, exactly.
Much, much better. So that's the compassion that we come at you from today. So we want to once again acknowledge the people of Turkey and Syria. Oh my God. When we first heard, there were like 10 or 15 loss of lives, and they said it could hit 2,500. And we were like, oh my God, I hope it never hits that number, that amount. Well, to our surprise, it has hit 46,000 loss of lives. They're having to do global burials because there's just so many bodies.
And that's not going to be the final number. It's going to keep going up as they keep finding people.
Yeah, and they keep finding people alive too. One here, two there, one. So keep sending them your thoughts and prayers. They have asked for us as anyone wanting to support and help the people. Instead of, initially you think, well, I got a closet full of clothes, I can send clothes, and they're like, don't just send material. If you can, send money. Find organizations that are authentic, and trust us, we understand it's hard to know who you give your money to if it's going to get to the people you want it to get to.
Exactly.
So do your research and then reach out and help, please. So, I just, as I was just talking about parenting, there were another 10 mass shootings over the weekend.
This is I wouldn't even know, because every week we're now coming to you and talking about new mass shooting. But this has hit all-time high. Mm-hmm. This past weekend, from the 17th to the 19th, there has been 10 mass shootings, people. I mean, I can't even, this is really, here is just some of them. 9 children shot at Georgia gas station. 9 children. Number 2, there's the second one. 6 people killed in a Mississippi town. 11 people shot in Memphis. 5 people injured near parade in New Orleans.
Mardi Gras.
Mardi
Gras. Fat Tuesday. Oh my God. Everything there is about love and celebration.
That reminds me, as I was saying, it doesn't just end at parades, because remember last year they did that shooting over the 4th of July parade downtown. So this is not new, but it's shocking. Then 6 people shot on the Chicago Expressway. And this 2 mass shootings in Georgia and Missouri. 1 in Indiana, Illinois, Tennessee, Louisiana, South Carolina, Mississippi. Total 13 killed, 46 injured, and at least 15 were children and teens.
That is disgusting. And the sad part about this is people keep going, oh my God, how could this happen? And then the people that we have in government, in office, that could stop this immediately, they say, I stand for, a person's right to bear arms, amendment. You know what? You were sent to office to protect and help your community. When you stand up there and pat your little chest and talk about how this is so important, how's it important? You cannot hunt with an AK and eat the whatever you hunt. There's nothing left to it. And for you, government, not to realize this is disgusting. And I don't know what it's going to take. The saddest thing for me was Sunny. She's a lawyer on The View. She said the saddest thing, and she looked at Whoopi and she says, I'm really, really sorry to say this out aloud. She says, but I do not think that this will be resolved during our lifetime. And the saddest thing for me is that my children will have to go through this garbage with their children. Now, I think her name is Alyssa, the new girl.
Alyssa Farron Griffin.
Now, she was saying, she goes, while we have differences of how to do it, we all agree that we should be able to bear arms responsibly, but not do mass shootings. And I understand what she's saying. And so, Joy says, well, what kind of gun do you have? And she says, I really don't know. It's my husband who has it.
Right.
So my $64 million question is, are all these guns in the hands of men? And they have put them in a little caveat that says, baby, I have a gun so that I can protect you, my love. Because don't you understand, if we have good laws that take people who do bad things and not give them any out, you did it, here's a picture. You can, this crap of how people do bad things, those police officers who killed that young man are pleading not guilty. I'm sorry, we saw what you did. You can't take that out of our memory. There has to be a legal way that we can stop this. I grew up in a house with guns for hunting. The guns were put away in a locked cabinet. And we knew where the key was, but getting the key was not worth getting killed. Because my grandmother did not play when it came to guns.
You remember, a lot of these mass shootings were done by grown men. So they were able to get their own guns. Very few are done. There are mass shootings done by 18-year-olds, but majority are grown men.
Yes.
So,
and so you go buy a gun on Monday, and then on Wednesday you buy a round, and then on Friday you buy another round, and then 2 weeks later you buy a case. That should be a red flag. Something. Why do you need all these bullets?
Yeah.
And yet nothing is happening.
Like we said last week, and I will always say it again, I'm going to keep saying it, the only way that this will stop is to eradicate guns completely.
Yeah.
Because there's no way that we're not going to have any mass shootings if we have any guns. I'm not talking about AK-15s.
Right.
I'm talking about pistols, rifles.
Right.
You don't have any of that. It's just, we've mentioned this before, and I have. Germany, they're
Yes.
able to carry guns, but you don't hear about mass shootings.
No.
Because society, it's normal to have guns, but it's just they don't do it there.
Well, but the thing is, they have more respect for life, tend to do it. I mean, if you take a gun and you kill somebody, you go into jail.
Right. Here, it's just, I don't know. It's just, America's different. All I say is we need to eradicate guns completely. Then
I
this
don't know
not...
about you, but I want my child to have a child. So
right.
Spoil that baby to just
exactly. And my son is 19, so he's got a long time to go before he gets married and has kids.
Yeah.
But I want him to have kids so the kids can grow up in a safe environment.
Yes.
And I don't want to keep seeing all these mass shootings popping up in the news.
Yes.
It's crazy, left, right,
Yes.
and center.
Yes. What is your opinion? You know, what do you think? Comment below. Let us know if you have a aha. Because one of the things that I think it was Whoopi or somebody, one of the news shows, and the commentator said, we are now killing our future. Most of these shootings, as she just said, are kids. These children could have the knowledge within them to eradicate cancer. You have to protect our future. We have to figure out a way so that the people who need the guns have the guns, but the people that should never, ever, ever, ever have a gun in their possession never gets a gun.
And also the other thing, it has to do with the people owning the gun places or people they hire.
Yes.
They need to figure out a way on how to really streamline it.
Yeah.
And figure a way to, I don't know how this is going to be done, because you have to do it in a way that it's not,
it's not profiling or anything like that.
You don't want that.
How about you? Have you ever been somewhere and somebody walks by you and you get a feeling? You know, you don't know what it is or why, and then a few minutes later you see them kick a kid or kick a dog, and you think to yourself, "Oh, I knew you were not a good person." So when you have that gift of, connectivity, try and figure out with your employees. And I'm sorry, if you buy a gun, you should have to fill out the paperwork, and then you should have to wait a whole week and let them do a thorough background check.
And sometimes it's hard because even if you do a background check, you're right, they should.
Yeah.
Nothing shows up.
That's
because
right.
in the past, they've had nothing. No, convictions, no reports on them of anything unusual happening to them. All of a sudden, this is the first thing boom. It just boom and it happens.
Yeah.
And you're like, wow, we had no indication. So,
yeah.
I don't know. I just really want, for me, coming from the UK, we don't have guns.
Yes.
I just wish it would be eradicated and just taken away. I just don't know why we need guns. What's the reason for having guns?
I completely agree. I agree. So, during the entire month of February, we've been doing Black History Month. And even though, we have a chat next week, it would be out of February. We will be into March. So today, we're going to do a little bit different. So we all know about Dr. Martin Luther King, Malcolm X. We know about Serena Williams, our tennis girl. Katherine Johnson, she was a mathematician who helped put the first man into space. We get to see that in the movie Hidden Figures.
Yes.
So then we have Black Americans like Duke Ellington. He was an American composer. And while they are all very, very important to us, the legacy of that is even more important. And we have to keep that legacy alive. And so the first person we're going to talk a little bit about today, her name is Janet Mock.
Yes, we are. Janet Mock. I'm sure you've not heard of her. If you have, comment below, but if not, then I'm going to talk about her. She is New York's best-selling author and advocate.
Wow.
Janet Mock. And I did not know this. She was also producer, director, and writer for the show Pose. Which
oh
is,
my God!
I knew it.
Favorite.
I knew it.
Favorite.
I knew Gloria was gonna.
Billy Porter, yes, baby.
So that was what was very, very interesting. Did not know this Janet Mock.
I had no idea.
Yes, and since coming out as a transgender in 2011, not too long ago, she advocates for the rights and representation of fellow transgender individuals.
Wow.
And she's also holding a top editorial position at Marie Claire and People magazine.
Oh my goodness,
so
this
those
is
are prestigious companies, magazine
yes.
companies, and she's done amazing things. And to do all that, and for writer and producer
yes.
and editor and Pose,
yes.
even more amazing.
Amazing.
So give it up for Janet Mock.
Yes.
Love
Congratulations.
it.
Congratulations. That's amazing. And in the same spirit, you know, there's someone that I just wanted to highlight that we both love, and you know her as Wendy Williams.
Oh,
how you doing? Well, Wendy has started being out and about in New York. She was out in, now it's cold, but they're going through a warm spell, so maybe that's why she had on a fur coat. She had on Louis Vuitton shorts with Fendi
Louis Vuitton shorts
with Fendi stockings underneath.
Oh, I would have. I'm gonna look it up and see what that picture is.
And she was doing a interview with a young woman who was asking, "How you doing? What you doing?" And so she asked her, you know, how she's doing, and she says, "I'm doing marvelous. I'm fine." And she's like, well, what are you doing? She's working on a podcast. I knew she would be back.
I knew that
I knew she would be back.
Yes.
And she wants to open up a restaurant. Because you know her two favorite things are talking and eating.
Eating? What kind of restaurant did she say?
She hasn't. She just said she wants it to be luscious. So we know it's going to be a good restaurant.
I'd love to dine there.
Yes, so we're going to keep, looking into that. Now, this person also asked her, how did she like the ending of the show? And they put up a picture of everyone on the Wendy show, Suzanne and Sash, and all of them, okay? Norman.
Yeah.
No Wendy. And she said that if they had asked, she would have preferred to do the final show herself as the Wendy show.
Oh.
Not as them doing a show under her name. So
But I'm surprised she didn't have a say in that. Like, why wouldn't she have said something? Because it really was still her show. They were just subbing for her.
Oh, I know. But, like she said, she said like, I can't think of his name now. He's the guy, he's a fair complected, bald. He was with Remy Ma.
Oh, I don't know.
He's like a rapper.
I don't remember the name. Yeah, well, it's a rapper,
And she was like, I love him. She goes, doing my show, he sucked. She goes, and he knows I love him. So she understood what they were doing, but it's almost as if, and I kind of agree. If you're going to terminate my show, I should at least be given the ability to do the last show. I think that the ratings would have been... I don't know why they
actually didn't even approach her and ask her, we're doing the last show, what is it that you'd want the content to be?
Yes. And like I loved the Sherry show, but I still think she's too close, because every time I think, okay, Sherry's going to do her own thing, somebody from Wendy's show shows up, like Norman.
Yeah, I don't get that. Why do they have to have... I know maybe because I have a theory here why she did that. It's because maybe she didn't want them to be out of a job.
True.
That's probably why she did that. But for viewers, come on, please be a bit more original than just taking the people. Yes, you're giving them a job, but make it your own. It's just too close to home.
Like Sherry has John. However, we see that now she did one of those little, how Wendy used to have people come on and tell you who's doing who's dating who.
Right, kind of like celebrity gossip.
Yeah, so Norman did one of those where he sat in the chair across from her talking about, people and what's going on in the world. And I thought, oh my God, and I appreciate that, they're all trying to figure out how to coexist. I just want them to somehow acknowledge that without Wendy, there would be no Sherry.
I'd be interested to find out what she thinks of the Wendy show.
Yeah,
I mean, not the Sherry show. That's what I'd be. But she'll never say it.
No, well, you'd be surprised, because she was saying that some of the things they did were beep up, and if she beep had her beeping way beep, and I thought, So I am very happy because I used to have visions of her just sitting alone in her penthouse, and apparently she's
been watching. She's been
yes,
just having her own little comments to herself.
So now she's ready to come out, and especially her podcast. Her podcast is going to be off the chain. So
yes, it is.
We're definitely going to follow up on that. And then on Sunday, 60 Minutes did, I guess, a segment, and it was called History Makers. And there's a woman, her name is Julianne Richardson. We're going to put the link down below. And her organization is documenting the breadth of blacks in America, one story at a time. And then as she gets this information, she's digitizing it so that it can be available. And when she started this, say a famous musician, and so we think that he was born that way. He just, walked out the womb playing.
Yeah.
She's talking to the people who said, oh, I was there when he sat down at the piano at the first time, or I was there when he picked up a saxophone at the first time. And she's documenting it, and she's taking this, and she initially started offering it to colleges, and now high schools are asking for the information.
Wow.
Because Black history is not being taught in our country because of politicians in certain states who are trying to drown out the fact of what blacks have done as support and as members of America.
I love that. That's really great.
So we're going to put the link for you to check it
out.
And
that is no small little project. That's a huge project, going to do all the research and everything.
No.
Wow.
Yeah, because she said that for her, information is important because it's slowly moving to the point where people no longer realize the contributions of Black Americans in the United States. You could walk up to a junior high school person and say, do you know who Rosa Parks is? And they would go, no. Do you know who Dr. Martin Luther King is? No. That's deplorable.
They taught that in my son's school.
Yeah.
When he was in junior high, they taught that to him.
So it's important. And the thing that people need to hear, my words as a young Black American woman, we're over it. I know you're talking about restitution and all of that. If you would just quit profiling us, quit trying to kill us, and quit trying to wipe us off the map, Black Americans, we're happy. We have no animosity about all the stuff that has been done, because the golden rule, when you know better, you do better.
Exactly.
So if you stop living in the past, come to the current future, look at the gifts that you have. Don't you think it's really sad that you could be naysaying somebody just because of the color of their skin? And that person could turn out to have been a blessing in your life if you hadn't been such a poop? Think about it. That's what we want. That's our thought of the day. Think about it.
Think about it.
So I didn't get a chance to get her name for you, but we will put it down below. Did you notice during the Super Bowl there was a young girl when they did the Star Spangled Banner, and she was the signer, and she was very young. They had her on CBS with Gayle King, and Gayle was asking her because she's deaf, and she's like, how are you able to dance and move? She learned the words of everything that she signed. So when Rihanna was doing work, her little hand was going work.
Yes.
I mean, it was so cute. So if you get a chance, you can go back and look at her on YouTube, but we're going to put her name and information below.
My husband was actually laughing at that.
Yeah, I thought that was, because at first I thought, okay, is she like, how sometimes they have like performers that, kind of make fun of stuff.
Yeah.
But no, that was her way of interpreting the dance and the music.
That was so cute.
That was so cute. So we're very, very proud of you. So I don't even know how to say this. There was a young girl named Kelly Pickler. She was on American Idol as an up-and-coming performer. She didn't win. However, she's gone on to be an amazing little singer. She does a lot of those Hallmark movies. So
yes.
you get to see her all the time. And I love her accent.
She's so cute, so genuinely like
Sweet.
like authentic.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So, as Glory was saying, Kelly Pickler was from American Idol, the same season as Carrie Underwood.
Mm-hmm.
Carrie Underwood, remember, was the one that won.
Right.
And even though she won, Kelly Pickler has gone on to do greater things. Well, just as, amazing.
Different venues, but
yes,
great things.
Great
yeah.
things. And she married this guy by the name of, I'm going to get the name of this guy, I forget, Carl Jacob. And there's been a lot of interviews with them together over the years, and you can see how much she's so in love with him. Yeah. She's doting all over him. He's her rock, and he's a bit not as outgoing as her.
Right.
He's just very just himself.
Just a love.
Yes, and he knows how much Kelly loves her. But this is so sad. 49 years old, and Carl dies.
Oh my God.
And get this, how does he die? He committed suicide. Yes, they said, Kelly said that she couldn't find him one day.
Oh my God.
And she was looking all over, then she got her assistant to help her find her husband in their house. The only way she knew that he was there was because there was a room in the house that was locked. And usually that room is not locked.
Right.
So you know that he went into that room and committed suicide.
Oh my God.
And they called 911.
Oh my God.
So suicide, and it really hit home to me because I was thinking, oh my God, another person just like Twitch committing suicide.
Young, who looks like they have the world in the palm of their
49 years young. They have their lifetime ahead of them.
Yes. And they're not going through poverty. I mean, you think they got good health, You
would think so. We don't know because look at Twitch. Everyone thought he was the smiling walking billboard.
Yes. And every time I turn around, they're showing his face. I mean, even at the last award show, Grammys, they said souls that we lost. And I'm like, he didn't sing anything, but he was a choreographer.
But they still put his face up there.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
That's so sad.
I feel so bad for Kelly because she was just like Allison. They were just so
happy.
It's like their husbands were their life.
Yes.
Like Allison came out and said that her husband was just the
most wonderful.
Yes,
kind,
he was
sweet, loving.
he was the one that held the family together.
Yeah.
And he was always there. So I just feel for Kelly.
Yes.
And we want to say that we are thinking of you.
Yes.
And we are praying for you, your family, your husband's family. It's so sad when when someone dies, but also dying of suicide.
Yeah. Because you have to have every thought in your mind, not necessarily all the right thoughts, but in your mind, you have to thought, I've done everything I can do. And even though it is going to be traumatic, like Twitch, by the grace of God, he did not stay home. He did not stay in his house so that his children could possibly see him. Yet, it was just to the point that he couldn't take it anymore. And it just breaks my heart because suicide is not something, especially if it's not where you just take some pills and go to sleep.
Right.
If it's something where you do something that you don't just go through the process, you feel the process, that's very heavy. So, Kelly, you are such a cute little sweetheart, and I know it hurts. And, we're just two girls chatting. If there's anything, in the ethers we could do to support you, just let us know.
Yeah.
Our thoughts and prayers are with you.
It's nice we're talking about this, and we actually think about people that go through these things, that commit suicide for a reason, right? That's very sad. But everyone, keep your prayers and thoughts of Kelly and her husband and their family in your prayers and everything.
Yes. Wow. So, there was a time when there was, a show that was like Regis filming. He had a show, and Regis and Kathy. And then Regis and this person, and I mean for years there were evolutions, and
Regis,
eventually
and then it was Kelly.
Yeah, then it was Regis and Kelly, and then Regis retired, and once he retired, it was Kelly. So then Kelly went on a hunt for a while. She just did guest people with her, and eventually she got Michael Strahan, and it was Kelly and Michael. And then that didn't work out, and then she went to. Every time in between these little videos,
there would be subs.
Yeah.
So they really didn't name it anything.
Right.
It was just a Kelly. I don't know what they named it.
Well, now it was called Kelly and Ryan because.
Well, now
Ryan
it's Kelly and
Seacrest,
Ryan, but before that, when they were in the intro,
it was just Kelly and whomever to be.
Right.
They never really. I mean, the day that Michael left, it was no longer Kelly and Michael, but it took a while before they named the next person behind that.
Right.
And Ryan Seacrest has been, I think, on the show 6 or 7 years.
A while, yeah.
And the thing is Ryan, I was shocked because Ryan's work is in California.
In Southern California.
Yes,
he does his shows, American Idol. He does his radio shows
Yes,
as
and
well.
then he only flies to New York just to do the
that,
dropping
yes.
of the ball for New Year's Eve.
Yes.
Well, his schedule has started to cause a little unrest on the set. So Ryan was very emotional when he announced that he is going to be leaving the show. And it's going to be replaced by Kelly's husband, Mark.
Mark
Yes.
Gonzalez.
So Mark and Kelly, I mean, we know they have a good rapport and all of that. And I know that, their children are all grown up. They're out of the house.
Their children, I have to tell you, are gorgeous.
Sweet children, too.
Gorgeous.
And so, the son is following in his father's footstep. So when you see Michael Consuelo, that's, Mark's son. And
he looks so alike. One of the sons.
And the way they comb their hair.
One of the sons, I don't know if it's a young one, or looks just like Mark.
Yeah.
Really does.
Yeah, it's the oldest one because he's the one in film right now. And,
right.
So on one hand, it's easy because Mark can just step right in. But on the other hand, that's a whole lot of togetherness. That's 7 by 24, 365.
I don't know if I've seen any other couple. I can't think of any other couple that been worked together like that.
For years and years and years.
I don't even know. Can't think of it. I mean.
So maybe they'll try it and it'll stick. Or maybe they'll try it and Mark will get a movie. Because, see, he is an actor first and foremost.
Yes.
And, he's got some amazing genes. His mama and daddy did him proud. Because he looks as gorgeous now as when he used to be on All My Children.
I looked at it because I didn't know him before that. And I looked at a past, some past pictures when him and Kelly were together in whatever soap that
All
was.
My Children. Yes, that's where they met.
He was gorgeous.
Yes.
He was a good looking man.
And he looks to me even better now.
And Kelly was very, very cute,
Yes.
younger in her, and she's still cute now.
Yeah.
But her and Mark, like, what is it? There's like picture perfect, like poster childs.
Yes.
Of the perfect couple.
One of my favorite new television shows is Fantasy Island. I used to love, when Mr. Rourke would stand there in his little suit and Tattoo would go, "Deplane, deplane."
I haven't seen it.
Oh, you have to check it out. It's a different version. Initially, I thought it was going to be a horror, and I don't do horror. No, it's not. It shows you how what you think your fantasy is when you get it. It may not be what you want.
Okay, Fantasy Island. I'm going to have to watch that.
Yes,
yeah.
I think you will really love it.
Do you watch it, anyone?
Yes, comment below. Yes. So the thing is, there was a family on it recently, and they had this picture perfect life.
Right.
And it was, everything was the way it was on social media.
Yeah.
Well, the mom wanted their lives in real life to be as beautiful and as wonderful as their portrayals on social media. And then when she got it, they were like in this container. They weren't themselves, and it was horrific. But they had to see that everything can't be a perfect filtered picture. So it's going to be interesting to see how this evolves, because I mean, as somebody who I used to watch Regis every morning, because he used to say that, well, Regis did, he never said I. He would say, well, Regis spent the weekend in New Jersey, or Regis did this. And it was just kind of cute watching him do that.
So because I don't really watch Kelly and Ryan. So has
Right.
Ryan left already? Or
I haven't. I don't know.
you don't know.
No.
Okay, yeah. So
I saw him and her on the air yesterday briefly, but I'm trying to get out the house by then.
yeah.
So we don't know when the official termination, but the new show is going to be called Kelly and Mark. So we'll check it out and let you know.
And if you watch the show,
Yes.
comment below because we'd like to know your opinions and what you think
Yes.
and how you like it. And we'll keep a little. What is it? We'll try and do some updates now and again on it.
Absolutely. So one little update we want to do for you: East Palestine, Ohio. That's where they had the train derailment.
Yes.
The EPA is there doing some evaluations, and the citizens, as you could imagine, are afraid to drink the water, to bathe in the water. I mean, could you think having an infant child and you're like, do I give my baby a bath in this water?
It's really awful.
I mean,
could you imagine living like that?
No, I mean, and the smoke, and so people have a raspiness to their voice, they're coughing, and they keep telling them it's safe, it's not. Look it, here's the meters. However, these people are not stupid, and they're like, I don't care what your little meter says. All the fish
is dying?
Yes. So if I'm a fish and I'm doing my thing in the water and all of a sudden I'm dead, something's different.
They actually interviewed this little young boy, and he said that when it blew up, when they actually lit the fire,
right,
and there was a fire, the little boy thought it was a house burning, so he ran over there
to try
to see if he could help. And he said ever since then, his face has been burning. He's having burning, sensation on his face.
Yeah.
Could you imagine a little boy, child, was doing something good, and then days later, I don't know between the time of that incident and now, but he's saying that his face is burning.
Yeah.
It's burning all the time, and he doesn't understand.
And he was just trying to be helpful.
I just don't know. It's really, really sad, and we really want to keep an eye on this story because there's more to it than just what they're telling us.
Yes.
So we'd like to keep an update. If you know of you've been to some site or Googled it or saw something that might shed some light, comment below because we'd like to hear.
Yes, absolutely. So, some good news. I never knew this. Because number one, I haven't traveled a whole lot lately, but remember when President Biden during the State of the Union speech was talking about all of these hidden fees, hidden travel fees? Well, come to find out, airlines would make you, say it's a mother, father, and 2 kids. If the 4 of you wanted to sit together, because they don't let you, pre-assign your seats, you would have to pay an upgrade fee to sit with your child.
To get preferred seating.
Yes, and so President Biden said this is ridiculous that you're treating children like luggage. Well, United came out and they are now going to set aside sections for families so that the whole family can sit together. I couldn't imagine going to get on a plane and they tell me, we're going to put you here and we're going to put your son in the seat up ahead of you.
Yeah, because when you're booking it at the time of booking, you're not allowed to actually choose. Like way back in the days, you could.
I knew my seats.
It was default that you would already have you can pick your seats.
Yeah.
Assigned seats.
Yeah.
It's just default. And then somewhere along the line, they decided, no, we're going to stop having pre-assigned seats. But if you would like to get pre-assigned seats, you pay an extra fee.
Thank you.
It's all about the money.
Yes.
And I think it was around the time when they started to sell food.
Yes.
That's when they decided we're going to do this.
Yeah.
So that when we get to the airport, because I've traveled when my son was younger.
Yeah.
Well, not much younger, but we couldn't get when we flew to England.
Right.
We weren't allowed to get pre-assigned seats. We
Right.
had to wait to the airport. And when you get to the airport, if you have like a family of 5,
right,
or even 4, you're not
right.
going to be able to sit together.
Right.
What are the chances that you'll be allowed to sit together?
Exactly.
So that was greed on the airports, airplane
So I've
companies.
only heard of United coming out and saying what they're going to do, but the rest of the airlines should follow suit because that's kind of disgusting. It really is.
And how do you might have like a child, like a really young infant.
Or even a special needs child.
Right, that needs both parents.
Yes, sometimes mommy can't calm the baby down. Sometimes the baby needs daddy. I mean, and for you to separate families and you're up in the air. And if anything happens, where you hit turbulence or anything like, you want your child to know I'm here. I got you.
Right.
So, that was a little unusual, but we wanted to let you know that at least United has stepped up and
That's
said
good.
we're going to
Other
do something
airlines
about
need
it.
to follow suit.
Yes. So now we're going to talk a little bit about the state of Florida. That's all I got to say, and I'm going to turn it over to my girl.
All right, everyone, brace yourself. This is going to be a topic that has been going on and is going on. My husband came across this article, and he shared it, and I was reading it, and I was mortified to say the least. So I printed it out, and I want to read it. I'm going to be quick about this, but because but I do want to read it. And the heading goes, this is the heading, the title of this story. It's Florida couple unable to get abortion will see baby die after delivery. Right, what do you think about that? Okay, so I had to keep reading. So it says here, in a few weeks, a Florida couple will have to bid farewell to their child shortly after the baby is delivered. A gut-wrenching reality created by the U.S. Supreme Court's elimination of nationwide abortion rights last year. Because of a new Florida law that bans abortion after 15 weeks, except under certain circumstances, Deborah Dorbert has become one of many women having difficulty assessing necessary abortion procedures after a Supreme Court overturned the right granted by the landmark 1973 Roe v. Wade decision. And it says, a report by the Washington Post-Chronicle says that Dorbert and her husband Lee Dorbert are expecting their second child and have been told by the doctors the baby has been diagnosed with a fatal fetal abnormality known as Potter syndrome. But they have said the doctors could not perform the abortion because of their interpretation of a Florida law that took effect after the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade. Potter syndrome is a rare condition related to a fetus development in the uterus. The syndrome is a result of abnormal kidney growth and function, which affects how much amniotic fluid surrounds the fetus during pregnancy. It has been deemed a doubly lethal diagnosis because babies with malfunctioning kidneys cannot remove deadly toxins from their body and in turn experience renal failure. Additionally, an absence of amniotic fluid in a womb causes a baby to be born without the ability to breathe. It's awful, heart-wrenching. According to Florida's Reducing Fatal and Infant Mortality law, which was implemented last July, abortions are prohibited after 15 weeks of gestation, with a few exceptions, including one that would allow for a later abortion if two physicians certify in writing that the fetus has a fetal abnormality and has not reached viability. Okay? Last November, when the couple's baby was diagnosed with the syndrome, a maternal fetal medicine specialist told the Dorberts that some parents choose to continue to full term while others opt to terminate the pregnancy through surgery or preterm labor. So it goes on to say that the doctors added that they would consult with the health administration, right about this regarding this new law, and the Dorberts eventually decided they wanted to terminate the pregnancy early and not let it, go. So as early as they could, because the baby with the syndrome often die before they are born or end up suffocating within minutes or hours after their delivery. Okay, Deborah Dorbert told the outlet that she recalled the specialist saying that the termination might be possible, but not until between 28 and 32 weeks. Then after the specialist consulted with health systems administrators regarding the law, the couple was told they would have to wait to terminate the pregnancy, get this, until the 37th week of gestation or near full term. Can you believe this?
Wow.
And then it says, according to a text message Deborah Dorbert received from the coordinator at a maternal fetal medicine office that she visits often, the specialist made this determination after having legal administrators look at the new law. So they had to look at the new law and read it word for word and in between the lines and the way it was written. And they reported that it's horribly written. That's what they said, horribly written, despite the specialists telling the couples that other states had fewer restrictions on abortion access, The Dorberts told the Post that they were overwhelmed by travel costs and had only left the state a few times. So even if they wanted to, they couldn't even leave the state to get abortion elsewhere. So the couple have not learned the baby's sex because its legs were crossed or the umbilical cord was in the way during scan. So they opted to eventually opted to provide palliative care to their child after the baby is born. This been very important, and then this whole thing, it goes on, and it's really sad that they have to wait till nearly full term to deliver the baby, and then the baby will only survive, we don't know how long.
Like
moments after that. And it says, despite the pain that the Dorberts and couples in similar situations are experiencing, the state's Republican governor, Ron DeSantis, has maintained an anti-abortion stance. Okay, I'm stopping there because I cannot believe this. It says, earlier this month, DeSantis said that he would sign a 6-week abortion ban if one passed. So.
And in 6 weeks, you have no idea. You have no idea. That is why Roe v. Wade was so important. And when they took it away, women were in the streets. Because it's not just about having reckless sex. It's about situations like this. As a about to be mom, being told the condition of her child in vitro, and trying to make a conscious decision. I don't want my child to suffer. I don't want to bring a child into the world that will not have a good, viable life.
There's no reason.
And then somebody with a pen who says, I am in charge. I write the law. I write the rules. You know, I just hope for you, because, you know, I believe in karma. What you put out, you get back. You don't come to one day regret your actions, because this is not being a governor that's taking care of its community. This is somebody who has his own thoughts of how he wants the world to be, and he's acting accordingly.
And final words, he says, we're for pro-life, DeSantis says. I urge the legislators to work, produce good stuff, and we will sign. That's what I've always wanted to do. Those are his final words. I'm like, what good stuff?
Yeah, the baby is sick. The baby is not viable.
And what's really, I showed this to Gloria earlier, what's really upsetting is, you can't see this, but there's an image of DeSantis signing, and what all these people around him, surrounding him, are all women. There's not one man. He's the only man there, and all the women are surrounding him.
So my first question to her is, are these actors?
And there's a little child here. Look, right beside him, there's a little child here.
Yeah. I mean, he's so unconscious that he doesn't even realize what he's doing is wrong. However, these women should know better. You know, you have to, at a certain point. I love Wonder Woman. I love, you know, there are aspects of the series that I really love. And, you know, the women, if there's ever a man around them, they're like, what do we need a man for? And they always say men are for violence and war. And women, we will learn how to collaborate and how to work toward a common goal.
We're all about emotions.
Yes, men will never do that. And I mean, you're sitting here, and I hope you have a good photographer who takes pictures of you doing all this crap, and you can put them up in your house and you can feel very good about them. However, when you walk out into the world, this is not. Remember earlier we were talking about President Jimmy Carter. You are no President Carter. And you are not going to get all the women that you need to vote for you, because this action says you don't care about a woman's life.
And to have a child pictured next to him, people, we always talk about how it stems from top down. This is what, whoever the mother was, allowing her child
to be used,
to be here in this picture, she's actually mentoring this child to believe what Santos is signing.
Yeah, for a photo op. So, top down, moms, wake up.
Crazy.
Wake up. Don't let somebody use your child. I mean, and as I think about this, every time you see Santos, he's surrounded by women.
It's crazy.
It's like, I don't know.
Just Yeah, I had to get this story out because it devastated me. I had to read the whole story to myself one time. Said this has to be talked about.
Yeah.
Because to go through this to be pregnant and have like a healthy child is still stressful. Let alone
Yes.
have a child that has some kind of abnormality.
Yes.
And you're not allowed to actually do what you want with your own body.
Yes. That is just, that's horrific.
Yeah.
So we will keep an eye on this because it's not going away. And I keep hearing a lot about, young, they're baby boomers, Gen Z,
Gen
and
X, Gen Z, millennials,
and how the latest babies are Gen X, right? Or Gen Z?
Gen Z, I think.
Okay, so Gen Z, they are like, they don't understand racism because they don't see, that's my friend. What do you mean my friend can't do what I do? There is a belief among government that you can control the vote because you got the people. You have been brainwashing them for year after year after year. However, young people are seeing their friends shot. Michigan State, that shooting had individuals at that school that were at another school.
Oxford High School.
I mean, how do you go from one school and have a shooting and then go to college, different campus, and have a shooting? Sunny also said, she goes, I hate the fact that my children have to go through these, like every day, they have to go through this little process that says, if you hear the alarm, where do you go? If you hear the alarm, what do you do? We never had to fall down or get in the closet.
The only thing we had in high school was to train if there was like an earthquake.
Absolutely.
That was it.
You learned how to get under a desk. If you were outside, try and get to the framing, the door frames of the building. But you didn't have to worry about getting shot. And until women wake up, until government starts protecting our children, the ones who are in office today have got to go. You have got to protect our children. This is ridiculous. We've had more school shootings and more mass shooting individuals than we have had days of the new 2023.
Yeah.
Oh, just, you don't want us to say anymore. So,
yeah.
As many of you know, our president shocked the world. He went to Ukraine. And one of the things that he did is he wanted to show his support of President Zelensky, but he also wanted to go to Poland, which is a member of NATO, which we are a member of. So there was one treaty left that said that how it related to the peace nuclear arms between the United States and Russia, and Putin said that's no longer valid. The thing that shocked me a little bit is that Putin is having conversations with the president of China, and they're now starting to look like they're collaborating, and they're gonna be buds in this democracy versus non-democracy. And I just hope that people are paying close attention to what's going on. The Santos and people like this, he acts as if he's a social media person. If I get enough likes, I will be president. No, because it still takes population. It takes human beings. I think it's really sad. And you'll hear people say, people close to Putin says he's unhinged. He's doing strange things. Yet no one figures out how to do anything about it, because they said that the person who comes behind Putin is worse than Putin, if you can imagine. We got people shooting off rockets. We're doing all of this. Why can't we all just live and let live? It's bad enough. You got, China, you got caught with your panties down, flying a balloon. Supposed to be a weather balloon.
Yeah, supposed
to be weather balloon. However, when you cross different airspaces, aren't you supposed to identify yourself?
Right.
So see, it's just so much chaos. And, moms, once again, we have to kind of stay on top of this, because this will eventually lead to our children and our children going to war. Aren't you tired of war? Now we got war in our schools. Aren't you tired of war?
Can we go back to the 1950s?
Yes.
And everything was calm and peaceful.
Yes. I mean, we always have had issues, but we found a way to coexist. And now for some reason we just can't seem to get along. And that lack of, we spend so much time on futile garbage. When I was a child, it was all about being great, being a great American citizen, getting good grades,
letting children play
outside,
have the joys of being a child with no cares whatsoever,
Yes.
no worries. Play in the garden with the hose pipes, drink
Yes.
from the hose pipes, come in at dark when it's dark and have dinner and
Yes, and sit together, and
Yeah.
not with a phone in your hand. Actually sit together and talk. How was your day? Oh, Mom, oh my God, they started this stuff called algebra. Ugh, I don't like algebra. Well, we'll do it after dinner. We'll go through it. And it wasn't that our parents knew, it was just that they were there for us.
Yeah.
So, these people, they're not very good human beings. That's all I got to say. Because when it comes to being a great president, President Jimmy Carter is a great president. He dedicated his life. He only did one term. And I think that's because he thought these people are crazy. He got in, he did some good for what he could do. And when he got out, he dedicated his life to helping Americans, building homes, Habitat of America. You can actually have a house where he nailed the nails, and even into his 80s he was still
There's actually
building.
video, you can look it up, of him doing like cutting the wood and with the saw and everything.
Yes. And him and his wife, Rosalind, they have been married over 75 years. Just let that number roll around your brain. These fake people can't be together more than 2 to 4 years, and then they got to get a divorce. They get married, have a baby. Oh, I can't do this, and they run. We need real American heroes, not theros. And that's a theoretical hero, a thero.
What's that mean?
Thero. That means you think you're a hero, but we all see a non-hero. We see a word that starts with an A and ends with an S. It's part of a donkey, if you get my drift. It's time. It's time to just say enough is enough. Enough is enough. So President Carter has put himself into hospice care because he had a couple of trips to the hospital. And, he said that he was going to do what he could as long as he could. And when the time came, he hoped that he would be in a position to make a good decision.
He just doesn't want any more medical intervention.
Yes.
So he's actually at home.
Right.
And they're doing hospice care for him there.
Yes.
So he's finally, he wants to be with family, and that's all that matters.
Yes. So we send our thoughts and prayers that, everything you want during this experience you're going to have. And may the grace of God just stay with you. Stay with you. I don't know about where you are here in Northern California. It is freezing cold. It is so cold. And then I look on the news this morning in Florida, I was like, 70 degrees and the water is 77 degrees. It's like, oh my God. However, in 2 days, they're going to be freezing too. Do not tell me you do not believe in global warming. These weather patterns are shifting. We had winds here yesterday between 20 and 60 miles per hour. I mean, trees were rocking. Trees fell down. I mean, we have a bridge. It's called the Bay Bridge, and it has a tunnel. And as you're entering the tunnel, it has these beautiful tall trees. Well, one of the trees came down. That stopped that whole bridge activity. So then people couldn't get out of San Francisco their normal route. So they started going down to go across the San Mateo and the Dumbarton bridges, which have its own traffic. So, one of my neighbors calls me and she's like, can you go pick up my baby? I can't get to her. And I'm like, where are you? And she goes, she was in San Mateo. It just stopped everything. Because if you take, say, 5,000 cars and move them to another place that already has now you got 10,000 cars. It's going to be a minute.
That's crazy. Well, in Campbell, it was only 24 miles per hour wind. I couldn't even imagine 60 miles or 50 miles. It was terrifying because I would see, like, when you're we have here some railroad crossings, and there's the gate that goes down. It was like this, swaying. And
yeah.
I was like, oh my God, could you imagine if it just comes down and there's a car there?
Yeah.
Could only imagine.
So right now, certain parts of the country is very, very cold. They're actually saying we could have snow this week down in the Bay Area, in Santa Cruz Mountains, up on the Mount Hamilton
Well,
Hills.
it's going to start raining.
Yes.
It's meant to start raining today
Yes.
here, and then tomorrow and Friday, I think.
Yep. So we don't know what's going to happen. We will share you an update with you next week, because you just never know what's going to happen. Never know.
Never know. We're always on our
Never
toes
know.
with the weather.
And a little bit of good news in New York, they had a mask mandate that whenever you were inside a building, you had to mask up. And Sherry Shepherd on her show, John, he goes, Sherry, we just got some great news. The mask mandate has been lifted, and her audience were able to rip off their mask and cheer, and they were so happy. So, it's coming. It's getting better.
I didn't know they still had that mask mandate, because in California we don't have it.
Yeah. Just for like hospitals,
Oh yeah, hospitals and doctors'
offices, we still have
and maybe
to.
some others. I can't remember what it is.
I mean, you have to wear it into the dentist's office, but then you have to take it off for them to work on your mouth.
Sure.
But so it's coming, and the only thing we ask is for people to do their due diligence and be careful, be conscious.
Yep.
Wow, another great chat. As we always tell you, we feel the love in the room. We send it back to you all.
Oh, back to you, yes.
We are so grateful that you spend this time with us, and we hope you'll come back again and again.
Yes, we do. And if you liked our video, we're going to do the same. You know what we're going to say. Hit the thumb icon. And please subscribe to our channel, because we would love to do more chats.
Yes.
And we hope that you like our chats. And the bell, that's the bell notification, so you don't miss any of our chats. And it's been really fun. And we are Silicon Valley Girls Chat Over Tea. And remember to always keep smiling. Bye.
Bye.